Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop-rolls. Before we get started, a few announcements. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch and are new to the channel, give us a follow. Even if you're offline, we'll play Little Frog hopping across the screen at the start of our next stream for you. Moving right along to some programming announcements. This Monday, we have a very special episode of Wild Ambition, our PF2 homebrew game of a Wild West game. It's a festival in a fantasy RPG. What could go wrong? Then, on Friday, we have the Astral Calling, a boss fight, a crazy time, and a decision for the party to make at the end of the episode. You'll have to join us to find out what that is. Of course, on Saturday, we have Salt and Sorcery and Strategy with Will, Matt, Calf, and Chad. Assuming Matt is awake, we will be playing some Solasta. I don't know, you might want to nap after our walk, Canada Day walk.
Well, I'll be home before noon. That's 7 hours later then.
Yeah.
I'm not that old.
Very long nap.
I actually don't like taking naps. They're never restful. Plus, hey, I didn't nap after I ran a freaking relay. That was 6.5 cam.
Sunday, we will have no Stardew Sunday this week, as I will be with Emily for their birthday. Because it's their birthday.
Aww. It's birthday.
Have they sent me the list of the things I need to get them for their birthday yet? No. Is it on Sunday? Yes. Then on Monday, of course, the Strength of Thousands AP. Every week, come hang out with us as we begin to do stuff here in this AP. Sapphic markers. I think she meant Copic. But, I mean, from my experience, that's actually a pretty equipped name for them. Then, we of course have our player introductions, but I will allow Matt to take care of that for me.
Yes, it is I, Matt, or Urbanoff at various places on the internet. I am here to run this carnival of craziness, this congregation of cookies. I don't know, I kind of lost the steam on the last bit there. Hello, everyone. Yes. We are playing the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, the adventures of lore speakers and the Moagi Expanse after having been dispatched from I've suddenly forgotten the name of the school, the Magambia.
The place where we done go get an education.
That's the Wednesday. That's the Wednesday leaking in there.
Brains get big.
Yep.
Yep.
But before I get too much into the weeds of the very specific situation we are in currently, allow me to introduce our cast of characters and the people who play them. Starting with the man, the myth, the legend, the one who started it all. Will, introduce yourself and characters, and do it now.
Hello, I'm Will, also known as Tabletop Rolls on the Internet. I started this channel so that I wouldn't be alone during the pandemic and would have an excuse to spend time with my friends without feeling guilty. Tonight, I'm playing Igura, Gama, and Choco, the Betrayer.
Still a cool name.
Still a cool name.
Also, as continuing my trend of weird little sub questions, what is your favorite side to get with a meal? Like fries, Caesar salad, potato fries, onion rings? Give me something spicy if you want to think about it.
That's a really difficult question. If I had to pick like my favorite side, Yorkshire pudding.
Ooh, Yorkshire pudding.
I love those things. Once I've made a batch and like they're cold, I take some icing sugar and I make them into like these like lovely little sweet buns for desserts. It's great. Highly recommend.
Oh, speaking of unexpectedly fun treats, Sarah, why introduce yourself and your character and tell us your favorite side for
cute.
Hi, Hi, everybody. I am Sarah Margaret, Big Red Cat Pictography on the social medias. I play Charlotte, the Anati toxicologist, the one who throws the chemical bombs and quite enjoys that. The thing above me, that is Theodore the Red Baron, aka Teddy, aka Gremlin. Will be in and out of frame as usual. And my favorite sides are I really like some nice crunchy sweet potato fries in all honesty. But if I can make it myself, I'm usually a mashed potato person.
Mashed potatoes, good for the soul. You know what else is good for the soul? The dulcet tones of Zoe. Why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
The baby.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zoe. I go by Zozie Pose on TikTok, Instagram, and on Twitch. And I'm playing Ophelia. She is our Whisper Elf Bard. I wasn't here last week, but I like to imagine that even though she was there last week, she got sick on the way over to our new town, and now she's wearing some shades because of it.
More mysterious
I
migraine.
would say, well, my comfort food is a side, and so I go feral for zucchini fries.
Ooh,
Good choice.
Yes, Ophelia made the poor decision at one point to drink from a river and caught Asmodee's revenge.
Oof.
Ooh.
Yikes.
And last but certainly not least, McKenna, who are you playing tonight? Who are your character? Who are you? And what is your favorite side dish?
I was so scared of what the transition out of Asmodee's revenge was going to be.
Speaking of things that
Hi,
make
guys.
you
I'm
blow out
McKenna
both
Rachel.
ends.
No! Oh, I brought it upon myself.
Oh, McKenna.
Walk- yeah.
I am McKenna Ray Tynan, McKenna Ray Art on all the social medias and social ales and social imbibements of all kind, I suppose. And tonight I am playing Avi Avi, the Batfolk or Nyctera Rune Witch, and her familiar Agate. Oh, and I'm doing stuff on TikTok if you want to check out my TikTok.
At McKenna Ray Art. Go and see a possible spoiler for upcoming NPCs in our upcoming campaigns from the last one that McKenna posted.
But McKenna, what's your favorite side?
Oh, my favorite side.
Baja Blast.
My left.
If I don't order it as a main dish,
Oh, I missed it, Tara.
mac and cheese is a pretty solid option. But most of the time, I will get whatever potato option is available, whether that be fries, mashed potatoes. I got a potato salad as a side the other day, and it was delightful. But listen, my Irish ancestors didn't survive the potato famine for me to not eat potatoes.
I have an important
So
question,
eat
McKenna.
potatoes I shall.
Important.
Sad.
Do you like your potato salad with eggs in it?
No.
Oh. Truthfully, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had potato salad with eggs in it.
I hate
I would
it,
be willing to try it.
That's how I make it. And then I add like a bunch of seasonings.
Is that not a satisfactory answer?
Separations: egg salad or potato salad. I don't like to mix them. I prefer egg salad though.
I had a very awkward moment.
I do love egg salad.
I had a very awkward moment with my grandmother like 2 weeks ago. She made potato salad, but she didn't tell me it had like egg in it.
Uh-oh.
And so I took a scoop of it, put it on my plate. I saw the egg. I was like, I now have to eat this.
Oh no.
That's the thing is I do also love egg salad, and I love egg salad and I love potato salad. So I would be willing to try a combination of the two, although I don't know. I would have to try it.
I'll make it for you sometime. I put curry.
But yeah, no raisins. Chad is correct. No raisins.
Oh, no.
There's
no
But-
a restaurant in Winnipeg that does it with pickles in it, and I've been craving that potato salad for weeks, and I might be going to get it now tomorrow because of this conversation.
Dill potato salad is so good with the pickles and little sprigs of dill in it.
I would like the dill,
Mm.
but if there's crunchies in my soft food,
Well, it's not
I'm
that
out.
crunchy.
I'm
But
out.
and just to close this completely unrelated conversation we've been having about sides and stuff,
Also,
I
16 minutes for us to talk about food. Thanks, Matt.
I like my grandma said when I showed her pictures of all my favorite home cooked meals that I was proud of. She said, "Oh, you really like to eat." Like, "Oh, thanks, grandma."
I would starve if someone said that to me.
And I barely ever saw her because she lived in Toronto. No, pardon me, Peterborough. She lived in Peterborough. I am, much like my taste in lattes, am a very basic bee. I like my pumpkin spice lattes, and I like my pub fries, where they still got a little bit of
Ooh.
skin on them, and I apply a healthy amount of just salt and vinegar, to the extent that you put it on when it's nice and hot, and you can almost smell the like vaporizing vinegar coming off the fries. Vinegar first, then salt, because then the salt will stick to the fries better because they have vinegar on them. But anyway,
Yes.
well, enough about hypothetical side dishes and making me hungry. Why don't you go ahead and roll that intro?
What happened last
Thank you all.
time, Matt?
Last time, Matt contemplated about making a cake tier list stream at some point. No, I am going to do that at some point.
All the cakes go in F tier for do not eat. I don't.
We can discuss why
Feels
Will's
me
wrong
wrong.
later. Anyway, when last we left our group of floor speakers, they had been dispatched on a diplomatic mission to the divine theory, or what is it? Like divine the theocracy in Mazzali.
Wouldn't it be
Ruled
theocracy?
by, pardon?
Wouldn't it be theocracy?
I say.
Theocracy. Theocracy.
I think that might have just been an audio thing. I meant to say theocracy, so. No, it's a theoretical theocracy, a theocracy. They're not sure about it. But it is ruled by the god king Walkana, who does a weird thing where he ages different depending on what time of the day and where the sun is in the sky. You guys met with one of the top ministers of the city, who basically laid out the fact that Walkana, meeting with him at this point is kind of pointless, because he probably holds you guys as foreigners in a lot of contempt, despite you having his seal to enter the city. So if you want to have any shot at, influencing him or getting him to actually listen to anything you have to say, you got to work from the ground up. You got to identify members of the city who are in high positions, who have influence on the council, and the council themselves, and work your way at influencing them. So that is a lovely segue into a reminder for everyone on the stream tonight and those watching how the influence system works in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. When attempting kind of what's the social combat of the influence system, there are kind of two parts to it. There's the influence itself, but before that, there's the discover section where you can do. Because NPCs that you want to influence and gain kind of influence levels and tiers with, which will have benefits and the like, you need to know what specific skills you are going to be going after, because certain skills will be a higher DC, some will be lower, and if you take the time to do discover checks, you can find out which ones are lower and which ones are higher, so you can have a more educated plan of attack. And then you get to the actual influence, where depending on how well you do, you can gain With a critical success, like 2 influence points, a success you get 1, failure, nothing happens, and with a critical failure, you lose an influence point. So, and just a specific on the discovery, a critical success gives you 2 options detailed from the success tier, and a success, you get to choose one of the following. You learn which skill can influence the NPC has the lowest DC, skipping anything you already know, and one of the NPC's personal biases. Or one of the NPC's resistances, or one of the NPC's weaknesses. So you learn one of those on a success, 2 if you get a critical. Failure, you learn nothing. Critical failure, I get to choose a piece of information to learn about as a success, but the information is incorrect. So I can tell you, oh yeah, they are very receptive to flattery. But they're not. Though admittedly, I would probably do it something that's not such a binary thing, because if you guys got a critical failure, you obviously know what I'm about to tell you is probably the opposite of what you'd want to know. So, now
Well, we don't metagame like that.
in addition to the normal influence rules of the discovery and the influence stages, there is some specific things I'm going to tell you about Mazzali's kind of influence thing. First, social encounters in Mazzali don't use typical rounds. Diplomatic endeavors here take much longer than a standard social gathering. Instead, the heroes can engage in 1 round of social encounters per week. Now, this doesn't mean you get to do as a group 1 thing. It means you guys get to pick your targets, and story-wise, this 1 interaction will take a week. I'm going to be tracking how many weeks you guys are doing this. It might come up later, but just something to keep in mind. The round represents several days' worth of influencing or discovering information about a specific individual. The delegation is assumed to work together, so all influence rounds include every hero, as well as the other lore speakers. All lore speakers are assumed to attend all diplomatic meetings, unless the heroes suggest 1 or more lore speakers stay back at the Golden Mouse, where you guys are staying. These other members sometimes come into play during attempts to influence specific figures, as noted in specific things. Second, each notable figure grants rewards as noted in their influence stat blocks, except 1 person we discovered has a typo. These can be experience point rewards, which we're not using. Treasure and other rewards that affects the hero's time in Mazzali. The figure's influence stat block notes when the heroes gain these rewards. This is typically after gaining a certain number of influence points with that figure. Some people have a reward or thing at every influence level. Some it's like first, and then you need 3, then you need 5. It varies. Finally, the hero must learn about a given individual before using discovery or influence activities. So we sort of need to go in a certain sort of order. You guys need to meet some people kind of organically, and then they might bring up other people or something, but you know the council exists, and that also then leads into the contact a Mazzali figure downtime activity. I'm just going to read this bit here. You gather information on a notable figure in Mazzali, speaking with contacts and putting your name out. You also attempt to arrange a meeting with the figure. Each figure requires a specific skill check or skill checks to properly contact them. This activity normally takes 1 week, but if your allies are also working to contact the same figure, the time is reduced if any of you succeed. So rather than splitting your efforts, if you all concentrate on 1 figure, it'll take a little less time. The activity takes only 4 days if 2 heroes engage in the activity, 2 days if 3 heroes are engaged, and 1 day if 4 more heroes are engaged in this activity. Critical success, you arrange a meeting with the figure and learn a bit of information that might be helpful when speaking with them. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus checks to influence them or attempts to discover information about them. Success, you arrange a meeting with the figure, but you don't gain any benefits. Failure, you fail to pin the person down, then they won't see you. So basically how it's going to go is you guys are going to be made aware of a person exists. You're going to get to engage in a check to determine if you can arrange a meeting with them. Then, once you have a meeting set up, you'll get a chance to do discovery, or just go right into the influence stage. So, does anyone have any questions? Because I know some of you are probably new to this. I haven't done it myself, and I've never done it from behind the GM screen. So,
But if you ever have any questions for that, Matt, feel free to ask me, because one of my favorite systems in Pathfinder 2e.
Will, what's a D20?
A D20 is a it's a
Serious
dough
Is it
deck
this
veto.
one with the 12 sides on it?
Yes, yes.
You would think so.
Here, serious question here. Is there any way to forward off those kind of like a Cliff Notes version of those rules without giving away key metadata for a player? Because unfortunately, I am running on exhaust sleep schedule right now, and a lot of that went.
I will make a short write up for you, Sarah, and post in the Zoom chat.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it would
all
just
good.
if I had like a okay, I know what I want to do now because I have that
Well,
specific idea.
I can throw the influence rules right in the chat right now. Because I have a Excel document in Google Docs that I've been reading off of. So
That would help.
that's how influence works. It'll probably look a little better when you copy it and paste it into an
And
actual
I think
document.
Sarah was looking for a flow chart of like how this is going to work, right?
I wish I had a flow chart.
If I would have known that you wanted one, I would have made you one.
Well, I'll manage, but it's always easier to visualize.
Will help. This gives me a generalized idea of what I'm looking at. Here, let me make.
I am a learn by doing kind of gal, so I am ready to jump right in.
All right, and it's funny you should mention that, because there is a let's see. You guys return from your initial meeting. Let's see.
Ruka.
With Nikurka. You are informed by your host. Let's just what was his name again? At the Golden Mouse. Let me quick second.
Please be patient with Matthew, as from my understanding,
Yeah, there's a lot of text.
There is 16.
Azuko.
This is a 16-page thing of all NPCs that Matt had to read.
Azuko.
Aziko informs you guys, just as you kind of return, that there are some locals from the city who are staying very briefly at the Golden Mouse, who were hoping to get a word with you at some point.
Okay.
Well, that might be a good place to start.
Rebels.
We need to figure out who we're supposed to be talking to anyway.
The locals would know the most, that's for sure.
So you guys are more than happy to meet with these people right away.
Yeah.
Works for me.
I kind of have something that I want to try to use. I haven't really brought it up, but I took this feat a while ago. It's called Entourage. And if we can make a little entourage here in the city, then they help with gathering information. They help with bonuses to diplomacy checks and reducing time to gather information.
Ooh.
I think that would be really cool if we make like a little, I don't know, not like a fan club, but like an offset of Ophelia's fan club from the Magambia.
An Ophelia cult.
That sounds uniquely useful in this situation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how specific some of the skill feats are, but just how useful they can be when they are useful.
So crazy specific. I'm like, why did I take this? And then now hearing about this, I'm like, this.
Wait a
this is
minute.
why.
Useful. But yes, I am all for that. It could be somewhat a helpful network.
Yeah, and
Fact.
a good practice round for us players.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys are thinking about that, let me just see here. So you guys are brought to a small kind of sitting room in the inn that is not connected to any of your places where you're staying. And let me just take a look real quick here. A not young but not old local human woman is waiting for you, and they very notably don't say anything until your host closes the door behind them, and the woman, Sahar, reveals herself to you as being a member of the Golden Lions.
Damn.
Um,
Bum, bum. I'm picking up
Yeah.
really sketched vibes.
yeah.
I
So-
suspected as much.
She
Oh,
it's kind of funny, they don't have a good bit of block text here, so I'm just gonna try and summarize. She introduces herself, makes known that she's a member of the Bright Lions, and she makes a point of showing that this is a sign of extending trust to you guys. And she almost immediately kind of stresses that, believes that the Bright Lions are close to the cusp of undertaking a major blow against Volcana. She believes that if the Bright Lions were to join forces with Magambia, the two could assure the liberation of Mazali. The fight would not be without casualties, but it would be a decisive one. Now, a small little reminder, because it very specifically, there are things that are beyond the scope of the adventure path here. You guys were specifically told by High Sun Mage Oyamba that you are not in a position to aid the Bright Lions. You might be, inclined to assist them, but it's
Well,
not advisable, at
Wish
least at
you
this
luck.
junction.
wish you luck in your endeavors. But nice.
we were sent here on a very specific diplomatic mission, and that is what we are here to do, peacefully, as representatives of the Magambia. If we were to act just as our own group, but unfortunately, we are here as other than just ourselves.
We're lore speakers. We're here in the means of education and research.
It's not that we're not sympathetic to the cause, because we very much are. It's just that we're gonna try to find a non-violent means first.
We have to set good examples for our kids, Those are our students.
Oh,
They look up to us.
Everyone kind of turns to look at Ophelia very briefly.
No, I do not have children.
Points to Leshy on Ophelia's hat.
It does a little dance.
She's just, you leave her out
that's an
of this.
exception. No.
You leave Floribunda out of this.
Sahir is an understanding woman. She looks disappointed, but not especially surprised. She says, for the good of security and for everyone's safety, then if there isn't anything to discuss, that she'll probably just take her leave. She does say that you guys, if you wish to, there will be ways of contacting her in the future and the Bright Lions. This is not know that someone with the Bright Lions exists. So I should note that there's a note here that if you want to use the contact Mazali figure action for the Bright Lions, it is one of the harder ones because obviously they are, they make it not easy to find them. So the DCs for that one will be a little high.
Oof. I bet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sahir thanks you for your time, expresses that she is a little disappointed, but she understands your position. And she knows that she says that pushing you, she knows, will possibly burn more bridges than it will build. So, And she also knows and kind of says about that revolution is a slow and incremental process. And so she takes her leave. So people want to put in possible options for contacting Bright Lions Sihar, like Sihar. That is one possible avenue you guys can take. So I'm going to move that one over here in my little flow chart I've made. Next, there is the council that was mentioned, the Council of Mawaniazia. Mawaniazia. Boy, I'm going to post that in the chat. You guys can share my pain.
I'm hearing like Mawanyan when you're saying it,
I
but
missed the C in the council for some reason, so it's the Council of
Wanisa.
Mawanisa.
oh yeah,
I apologize for all my
Mawanisa.
pronunciations.
Mawanisa.
A lot of the names are very seem very Afrikaans based. So
I mean, it's kind of refreshing.
right?
Yeah.
You're so used to the same magic school tropes, you know, and
Yep.
this is trying, obviously, very clearly trying to.
Yes, you must contact
Angle.
Professor Wiggle Hardbottle.
With Wiggle Hard Bottle. Oh, right. Well, how do we find out who's on the council? Because that's who we're trying to influence.
So, contacting the council and thus giving you the chance to do some discovery and the like will be either a diplomacy, a religion, or a society check. The diplomacy is kind of middle difficulty, religion check is the lower difficulty, and society is the higher difficulty.
All right. Well, I will start
And
us off by rolling
for
society.
the benefit of everyone in the chat, I'm just going to...
Do we only get one roll as a group, Matt, or do we all get to roll?
This will be the first week.
Okay, so
Technically, it does say that the heroes can engage one round of social encounters per week, and the contact Mazzali thing, the activity takes 1 week, but if your allies are also working to contact the same figure, so you all get to make your own rolls, and if you are all working on the same figure to contact, in this case, the council, which is made up of several people, this will only take a day, and I still think you all get to roll individually.
Yeah.
Dependent on it. So you said it was diplomacy, society, and
Religion.
religion.
Yes. I'm also going to throw this in.
Nat 20! Natural 20!
Ooh, you had better.
Oh, my message is
You
too
better
long.
work.
You better not 20.
Yeah. Okay. So we're looking for them. What he
All
said.
right, so what was that roll of? That was I have to scroll down way far.
Society.
Society.
Society. It is a nat 20. I don't think there are critical successes on these things, but you did get 9 over the hard difficulty DC anyway. It was a DC of 30. So,
Well, it's still critical success because I put it at 20.
yes, you did.
It was a critical success mechanic.
Oh, wait, yeah,
it
sorry.
counted.
I'm looking at 2 different things for the
Here.
contact a figure. There's the DC for the specific, and then there's the actual rules for contact a figure.
Contact a
So
figure.
yes, you got a critical success. You arrange a
Yay.
meeting with the figure and learn a bit of information that might be helpful when speaking with them.
Hmm.
You can engage that figure in a social encounter and influence or discover activities in the future. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to influence them or attempt to discover information about them. And thankfully for the council, there are just some quick little blurbs for the specific members. And this is all public record kind of stuff, so it's this is not crazy to reveal to you. All right, so now they each have a title. You're not going to need to remember the title, just the name, because
Just the name.
they each have a specific title, which is going to get very tedious if you take down the title and the name.
Right.
But they're all some kind of priest. So first is Ugin Priest Dizonzi. Dizonzi. He is a male spirit priest. He is in charge of organizing religious services and considered the city's leader against spirit intrusions, quote unquote, which is local parlance for non-Walkanan faiths. Dizonzi is an elderly man more concerned with living a comfortable life than the expulsion of outside faiths. He is a curt man, tolerating no nonsense from others, but speaks with a wisdom and a gravity afforded to him experience and age.
No nonsense, old man. Gotcha.
Yep, that is a good summary. The next is Sangoma Priest Gondui. Male human healer. Serves the city as its plague ward and master physician. He uses a combination of practical and magical techniques to offer healing services, though usually at a high price. He's a middle-aged man with a penchant for flashy outfits and accessories. He has a somewhat laid-back attitude and is prone to fits of spontaneous song or dance, which his peers see as unbefitting of a council member. He sees the delegation's offers to provide medical services to the people of Mazzali as an opportunity to convert his services into exclusive healing and charge even more.
No, 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 no.
Greedy bastard.
Tsukiriko Priest Onami.
What was
female.
that?
So again, the priest titles are not necessary, but Tsukiriko Priest Onami. Onami.
Monami.
Female human priest cleric of Walkana. She uses the divine powers to reach out to the spirits of the past. She channels ancient spirits as a way to learn about Mazzali's past, though she only channels specific spirits tied to the historic events Walkana wishes to perpetuate. Onami is the youngest of her peers, but she still has over a decade of service as a member of the council. That just, shows how old the rest of them are. She's a quiet and reserved woman, though it's clear that she is constantly assessing others and keeping mental notes at all events. Next, there's only two more. There's the Ganga priestess Simbawa, female human diviner. She's the city's seer and a prophetess, using her magic to keep an eye on Mazzali's future and help guide the council's actions. She is the oldest member of the council, having joined as a teenager with the help of her prophetic abilities. Now in her 8th decade, she continues to use her abilities, though the effort and strain required to complete her divinations has slowed her predictions down to a monthly or weekly events at most. She's a patient woman who loves to tell long-winded stories that only sometimes circle around to the point she's attempting to make. Like the time she put a mango in her belt. Which was not the style at the time.
Oh my goodness.
If anyone gets that reference. She sees the delegation as harbingers of inevitable change from Mazzali, but wishes to put them through their paces before she provides any support to their cause. Oh wait, actually that is the last one. The next one is just contacting the council, which you have already done now. So, because you guys got a critical success, you can now engage in the either discovery, or if you want to lean right into the influence stage, I will give you what checks there are, but you won't know which ones are the harder and easier ones.
Mm-hmm. Also, apologies for my neighbors. They're being fucking obnoxious. I don't know if you can hear them.
You're fine. We're used to it.
All right. I'm now tracking
So, yes.
day 1 of your efforts to make headroads into the city.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Do we maybe want to just try to gather as much information on people that we can contact and then go from there first? Like, figure out who's all on the list that we need to talk to and then start.
Oh, because if they start talking about people that we don't have any idea about, then we're not really going to know.
By the way, now that you guys have attempted to use contact a Mozali figure, a note is dropped off at the inn, and when you have the chance, someone else. I'm just going to make sure if he actually wants to meet with you guys. Yes. You guys can apparently skip the seek out the figure, as someone wants to introduce themselves to you at your convenience.
The last time that happened, we were introduced to the one group that we really didn't want to be introduced to.
Is it Gwandi
Is it-
of the council? Who is it?
I'll just say it's no one on the council who wants to talk. The council is listed as separate people, but they're all essentially like a single figure for this mechanic. Other than some of them have specific easier DCs for things.
My curiosity says look at the note, but I don't know what y'all feel.
I'd be okay with looking at the note.
You can look at the note.
Yeah.
It should be noted, actually, there is one quirk to doing the council, is that you have to do them in the order in which I introduce them to you.
I have that order written down, so we're good.
Yeah, once the heroes earn 2 influence points with a given high priest, that priest is won over, and the heroes can move on to a different member.
So we got to get through the no-nonsense old man first.
Yeah,
Yep.
before we get to possibly the
And
easier.
I'll tell you this, I'm not going to be specific, but there is a specific skill for each of the council members that is specific to that council member.
But we can take
So-
time researching them to learn that. So
Yes, you can do the discovery.
Okay.
You know, like
Yes.
diplomacy, performance. I don't know.
Is that-
Can we do
Yeah.
both? Can we see who wrote the note and do a discovery phase for
Uh,
the council?
Yeah, just for sake, I will let you know. The note is from Mabele Numbe. And I'll spell that for you. M''Bele. And the second name is Numbe.
Nebele nombe. Nebele.
Sounds familiar. I don't know why.
Oh.
You do note there appears to be some sort of crest on the letterhead. So this appears to be some sort of like official organization, perhaps. You're unfamiliar with it. If you want to make a society check,
Sure.
for
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah, 42. Jesus Christ.
Ooh,
43 for a crest.
You find out by talking up and charming some locals, maybe some staff members of at the Golden Mouse, that this is from the Anathusis Traveling Merchant Guild, or Traveling Merchant Guild, that exists in the city. So this is probably some high up merchant.
That's cool. Do we know anything about this person? Are they also smart-ass?
We'll have to discover that with the discovery checks.
Okay.
Yeah, this you've gone past the you know who this person is now. Now you need to do this. You need to discover things about them if you want
Yeah,
to.
I got the name. Now we need to do the research.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think
Well-
maybe we should focus on the council.
Do we want to focus on you think we should focus on the council first and then go from there?
Kinda.
And actually, there is sort of a first
Yeah.
meeting with Mabele first. Then you can do the discovery and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't think it. Well,
Well, there's also the general possibility, although it is more riskier than nothing, if we want to have somebody or 2 or 3 people work with the council for the first week and somebody else touch
Yes,
base with the belly.
You guys have 4 possible checks in this first week. One for each of you. But the whole thing does take a week.
I mean, this isn't really that time sensitive, right? Like we don't have a.
No, and you were told that this whole expedition could last weeks, months.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, we're not worried about it taking as long as we need to. So I think if we all just
Also,
like,
just
Okay.
because there's no actual reason to obfuscate this from you guys, as you gain influence with specific people in the city, at certain thresholds, you trigger another meeting with the head lady, and you get to have another meeting with her, and you gain an influence with her. And once you gain 8 influence with her, the next part of the story is going to trigger.
with Nafuka.
Yeah, but it is unclear at what level of influence these meetings will trigger.
Nice.
You may need to advance the particular person's influence all the way to the full. It may happen halfway through. You guys will have to discover that.
This is so very different from just fighting and fighting and fighting.
Mhm, it
Right.
is.
Also, a minotaur has broken through the wall. Everyone roll initiative.
Damn it!
Had to say something.
At least a minotaur is not a bug. All right. All in favor of the whole
Joke's on you. He's a
tackling-
stag beetle.
Oh, get out of here, stag beetle minotaur.
Attempting to get some research on Dazanzi.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, who's up for researching Dazanzi? So that is Ophelia. That is Avi Avi. Is that going to be Charlotte as well? Or Charlotte, do you want to do something else?
I mean, I'm actually of the mindset to help assist, if nothing else, to get to that initial meet with Mabelli.
Yeah.
In all
Well,
honesty.
the initial meet with Belly will just happen.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a bit of an unusual case in this whole mechanical thing.
What is
Right,
Can
Eber
maybe-
thinking?
can
before
we
we
do
can
that
do
initial
something.
meet before we decide what roles we make?
Sorry, say again?
Can we do that initial meet before we decide what roles we make, or is that an event that is triggered by us deciding to go and try to influence Mabelli?
No, that just happens. You guys just get to have an initial conversation. It sets up some stuff for his interactions.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. We just got the note.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's just do that then quickly. Let's go meet
Yeah.
him.
Meet.
I mean, maybe he even knows things about the council. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so Mabelli meets with you guys. He explains who he is and the Merchants Guild's goal in Mazzali. He hopes that the guild will complete a project of its soon, and once it can properly establish a trade agreement within the city. Once that's complete, he says, your delegation can do as it's fit. Until then, however, the Magambia delegation should stand down and keep to its pleasant quarters. You don't even have to check to detect a slight bit of edge in his voice. This is a little bit of a threat.
Cheeky.
Is there any reason why we can't work on this together? It doesn't seem like we have conflicting goals here.
Are you trying to negotiate with me?
I suppose I'm just trying to understand your reasoning better.
I mean, you reached out to us. We just.
I'm just saying it's in the best different interests of everyone if you just wait until I'm done my business and then you can, be tourists.
You have a vested interest that you're worried that we're going to interrupt.
I'm not hearing a yes here.
Do
Respectfully,
We're not hearing a good reason to say yes or no yet.
He stands up in a huff and leaves.
Do not
Oh.
worry the
It
Magambia.
literally says, if the heroes attempt to ease his feelings, anything short of agreeing to wait for the guild to finish his business causes Mabelli to become upset.
Well, I know
He
what
was
he
on a
does.
hair trigger.
What
I
a
know
stinky
what-
piece of cheese.
I know what I'm doing.
So what you're telling me is he just had a wild case of bellyache?
Not
He's got a
Vez.
bellyache. Got him.
Well,
Really tired.
Well, that's cool. Would we be able to gather a bit of information about that guy?
Probably. I was just going to go talk to him.
Yes, you guys can now do discovery checks for him.
Okay.
It should be noted. I'm just checking something here. Okay. Yeah, you guys can attempt to do discovery on him now.
Mm.
So that's another avenue. You now can go to the council. You can go to this gentleman. You could potentially try and contact the Bright Lions again if you wanted.
I think I'm gonna continue going after the council. I feel like we came here with a job to do, and talking to this guy and learning more about him was not it.
I
Well-
mean, he's a vested interest and a major player in this town's politics.
I mean, to be honest, I did think we were going to have a conversation and not be told to do something and
If you all would
then not have
like,
a conversation.
if
So-
if you would all like, I could deal with the merchant while you all deal with the council.
I just think we're stronger together as a front.
I feel like the religious leaders of the city are not a crowd that I want to be around as who I am.
Excellent. That is all you had to say. We will not force you to be around any religious figures.
I will let you all handle the council, and I'll go try to be useful another way.
Yeah, the outside of that sect, I think. There's certainly probably enough people that Igra could assist with without having to deal with anything uncomfortable.
Like I said, I'll go deal with the merchant while you all deal with the council.
That works for me.
Just be safe. You know, one of us was just kind of almost recently,
Well, maybe
Fascinating.
I'll be fine. Gama's
maybe
practically a god. It's fine.
All right.
you're also
So-
going to have other
What?
members of the delegation too. You're not going by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't you have your jackal guards?
Yeah, we have a jackal.
Buckle guards have to go with you everywhere.
I'm gonna name them. If they're not gonna tell me their actual names, I'm going to name them.
I will name
Oh,
you
is that what
Frog
You are
Legs.
totally free to do that patronizing thing.
Bob and Ted.
I thought you were gonna go for like, I don't know, dog names.
I'm going to name mine Frog Legs.
Oh.
Missing home, are we?
Ooh.
Somewhere Frog Legs is
I worry about you
sitting in her
sometimes,
cell.
Cora.
Kind of looks up like, huh?
Sneezes.
Listen, if you all are allowed to make poor decisions with who you have interpersonal relationships with, I am as well.
Is that
Okay,
what
but you did
consider
that first.
Interpersonal relationship, Ikora? Oh boy.
Wow.
Well,
You say that like I want to have
Hurry up.
personal relations
And
with anybody.
I would like to start a new timer. It's how many minutes into the podcast? Or podcast. We almost made it to an hour without mentioning
interpersonal
Igra's contempt for the
Igra's grudge.
decisions of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Almost an hour.
What do you mean?
And we didn't even bring it up. That was all Will.
No, that's what I'm saying. Will brought it up.
Nah,
Yeah.
we're great. We all make
I
bad decisions in this
I
room.
do feel kind of bad. I just realized too. It's never going to be far from Will's mind because if you notice what's underneath my portrait,
Yeah. The
Yeah.
entire fucking time.
Should never. Anyway, look at the time. We should probably do a research thing, shouldn't we? God, bye.
I want to go find out information about
Zanzi.
the zombie.
Okay, so we're doing it one discovery, Azanzi. Anyone else want to do discoveries?
Yeah, Discovery is on the.
All right, Ophelia, that's the second one. Charlotte, what are you up to?
I mean, in all honesty, the Dazanzi is probably, if we put 3 discoveries into it, we'll get more info, right? Is there a
Yep.
max?
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that.
All right, and Igra, what are you doing?
Igor is just going to go talk to the merchant. Just because, how do I put this? This is me metagaming a little bit, but I know that usually diplomacy is an option for all of these, and Ego's really good at diplomacy, so I'm just going to go try my luck.
That's you're gonna go straight into influence.
Yeah, I'm going to go straight into influence.
All right, so we're gonna do the 3 things on the first priest in the council. So this is going to be for discovery. It's going to be Mazal lore, perception, or society.
Mazzali lore, perception, or society.
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't have Mazzali lore.
I don't think anyone does.
No.
And even if
it's
I
a weird
did,
thing
it
to
would
put
be
in
the
here, honestly.
It would be the exact same as my society, which is 19, and my perception, which is also 19. Is there a difference in the DC by any chance? I wouldn't
Mazzali
know,
lore
but-
is the lowest because it's probably the one that least people have. Perception, being the one that almost everyone has, of course, is
It's
the
probably the
highest
highest.
DC. And the
Okay.
normal society check is kind of in the middle.
Middling.
Then I will stick with my regular old society check.
All right, so that's going to be one society check.
Oh,
That's another nat 20!
McKenna, where are these?
Is that the second roll? I think-
There was one
I think you
society roll in
discovered-
between.
Avi Avi is a diplomat at heart. She was never a fighter.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
All right.
Dragon.
So that is a critical success on the discovery. So I'm going to list off the options again, and you get to check
Check.
2 of them. You get to pick. You can learn which skill can influence the NPC has the lowest DC. You can learn one of the NPC's personal biases,
Ooh.
one of the NPC's resistances, or one of the NPC's weaknesses.
Ooh.
Don't-
Oh, we lost you a little.
Okay, so personal biases, weaknesses, and what was the first one?
The lowest DC.
Their lowest DC. I think I would like to learn their lowest DC.
All right. So, and this is for specifically. This was
Zanzi?
Zanzi. All right. Let me take a look here real
Zanzi.
quick.
The no nonsense old man.
Zanzi. Okay, so the lowest DC for any of them is, well, I'll tell you 2 things actually, because this is just a little weird. The lowest DC for actually all of them, this is weird because the council is weird for this, is the
Yeah.
Mazzali lore. But the one, there's a DC that you can only roll for Zanzi, and it won't work for anything else, oddly enough, and that's religion. And
How did I know? I was like, none of us have a good.
oh, actually, you know what? You do have someone who is actually got some points in religion.
Oh,
Let me-
endures.
Yes, who is also going to be doing a discovery roll, I guess, because he is a part of this party. I keep forgetting.
Yay! He's just so
he's-
chill, you know.
He's going to do a society. Oh no, he's not. What was it? It was society and diplomacy. Oh god, he is actually terrible. He has no social skills.
The mushroom has no social skills? Crazy.
You know what?
He was a
He's
mushroom.
not to roll on the
Tiny.
discovery stuff because he could risk a failure there. So, but he could roll on the religion for. He's got a plus 21 in religion, so
Love that.
he could
for
do.
him.
He could do the influence when you guys move on to that. But that was just one discovery roll. You've got one other choice too, McKenna,
Yeah,
for
wow.
something to learn. So you learned the lowest DC.
I'll go with personal bias.
Let me check actually.
I'm so
Right now,
sorry.
I'm not
What's the
planning on
lowest DC
fighting.
again.
Religion.
Religion.
Religione.
You know what?
Resting notes.
I'm sorry to tell you this, McKenna. Because the council is weird, they don't have any personal biases, weaknesses, or anything. It's kind of
Oh.
annoying. It's kind of annoying.
just-
Actually,
I feel like in general, the way that they've been told up until this time is their personal biases are
I'll tell you
not
this.
folly.
I'll tell you this. It says there is a delegation bias.
Oh.
Corriday assumes the council members are all pompous figureheads, and she's not shy about sharing this opinion in front of them. While she's present in social encounters, critical successes to influence or discover the crowd of Manawase are successes instead.
Oh, so we need to leave Corriday at home.
Yes, which technically you only just learned that now, so technically your critical success would have only been a success.
Oh,
Because
wow. Thank
Unless you
goodness
guys learn
found
about
that
something
out.
specifically, it's assumed everyone is with you at all times.
Okay.
Right.
Let's maybe talk to Corriday and tell her to stay home.
Okay. So that eliminates that weird thing. Ophelia, what are you doing for your discovery? Masali lore, perception, or society?
Well, considering I don't have Masali lore, let's go with society. Well, yeah, let's go with society as well. We'll see.
Actually, well, here's a quick question.
Yeah.
In the influence mechanics,
Yep.
if someone has already essentially learned everything that is to learn, can you tell the players?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why
Okay.
don't we just
Tell
So
them
basically-
that.
Once again, because the council is weird, you already have the lowest DC information. They don't have a rule for their particular weaknesses because the council is weird. You already learned the delegation bias. They also don't have any resistances, so there's actually nothing more to discover about this first priest.
Why don't the four of us, Ophelia, Endors, Charlotte, Avi, go to a meeting with the first priest, with the Dzanzi guy?
Well, I'm just going to say this. We are still in the first week.
Okay.
McKenna has used her role.
Okay.
And because McKenna did well on the first roll, and because the
Yes.
council has very little to learn,
Yes.
I am willing, if you guys want, you can turn your roles into influence roles now.
Okay.
Because this is now the only option really that remains, unless you want to go in a completely different direction and go to somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah. We can try for an influence.
Is that permissible with the rules, Will?
I mean, the rules would state that basically our actions don't matter until we decide what those actions are. So McKenna getting all that information doesn't actually affect. Like, we don't have to pre-select everything at
Okay,
once. It's in order of player. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
we're fine.
So you guys actually may want to discover who has the highest bonuses to certain things and lead with them in case you get a really good success. So now we move on to I'm just going to go in sort of in a round circle in my screen of the Zoom call.
Okay.
So Ophelia, you're up next. You can now choose to do discovery, which is pointless at this point, or
Right.
influence, unless you wanted to do discovery on Will's target, for instance.
Well, Will's got that. Yeah, Igor has got that. That's his thing. I've never
All right.
gotten along with shopkeeps.
All right, so for influence, your options are Mazzali lore, religion, because this is Dzanzi, Walkana lore, diplomacy, deception, or intimidation.
Okay.
And you do know that probably the best options in terms of the high DCs is either Mazzali lore or religion.
Gotcha. So, considering my lovely 2 in religion,
Remember, diplomacy is always an option. So
yeah,
Yes.
let's go with the lovely diplomacy roll instead.
Okay, roll me a diplomacy.
unfortunately,
Alright,
this
well.
is not a make an impression, so you can't.
34.
Just use...
That is a success
Wow.
on the DC 32 you needed.
Wow, out of 10, I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
So that is a success on the influence. You
Okay.
have gained 1 influence point with the first member of the council.
Cool.
Nice.
Very nice.
You only need 1 more to move on to the next council member. We're going to go then to Sarah for either discovery or influence.
Do another influence then.
All right. Which check do you want to roll?
Let's do religion.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So I actually am trained in religion, so I have at least this good stuff.
23.
I'm gonna use a hero point on that one.
Okay. It was a nat 5, so that's fair.
Mm-mm.
And I think we all got hero points.
Nope.
Thank you,
Nope.
chat.
Oh no.
Thankfully, that
Not
is
a
not a
one.
critical failure. You saved it by 1.
Why am I here, everybody? Why am I here?
So you just
don't
didn't gain any influence, but you also didn't make a bad impression.
Somebody,
Just-
somebody send Charlotte back to Magambia. Magambia.
We're going to move on to me in the Zoom chat, which will be Endures in Darkness, who is also going to attempt to religion. 36.
Nice.
Wow.
That is a success.
And I still.
So
He's a mushroom of God.
I'm now going to highlight this on my spreadsheet. You guys have cleared influence level 2 with the council. So that means you don't have to worry about the stuffy old man anymore.
Hooray! We don't like
Yay.
him. He's the
Yeah.
least exciting.
We're then going to move on to Igora.
Yeah. I'm just going to go straight up to the merchant. I'm going to be, hey, bud. Listen, I know we got off on the wrong foot. I know you got a vested interest here, but I gotta say, there's a lot of opportunities for business to boom if you work with people. And
So,
Gambia's
Just a little
done
bit of background
more.
here. Just a bit of background. It does take a day to arrange to meet with him,
That's fine.
and he prefers to meet at the Sunlit Inn on the north side of town.
That's fine. But yeah, hey, bud. Good to see you again. I know we got off on the wrong foot last time.
Are you attempting to make an influence check here?
Yes.
All right, so that is either going to be
But
sorry. he has like very little in terms of dialogue.
yeah, fair enough.
There's either going to be mercantile lore,
Matt,
society.
I'm doing diplomacy.
Woo!
I'm doing diplomacy.
Okay.
41.
41. All right,
Nice.
let me just check this. That is a critical success. You are a charming frogman.
Damn.
Don't do it. No, I'm taking that away.
You
I know
were
that's
Critical
charming
failure.
for like 5 seconds.
Okay,
and then
hold on,
immediately
hold on.
ruined it.
I know we ran into this, but please, Mac, for my notes,
Yes.
can you say all of the checks that he has?
Yes. So, for Mabale Numbe,
Mm.
the influence skills that I give you the option to and you want to roll are mercantile lore.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's a big old merchant nerd. Society, deception, diplomacy, and intimidation. The last 3, deception, diplomacy, and intimidation, are going to come a lot.
Yeah.
They're not always the easiest, but they are the most common.
Viable options.
Yes.
But when you're fully spec'd into diplomacy,
Okay.
it's surprisingly.
Thank you. Yes, because for
Yeah.
for chat's clarification, I'm giving a page for each person we're influencing
Boy.
with
Nice.
details that we get.
So Shy, McKenna, Shy. Look at Twitch chat.
I don't have it up, honestly.
No, I know. This is just specifically for McKenna.
All right, so I've marked down that because you got a critical success, you have now gained 2 influence points.
I will take that too.
Unfortunately, unlike the council, their second tier of influence starts at 4, but you've cleared the first one, and you have actually will I'm going to give you this because I feel bad interrupting your RP.
Hey.
You have stumbled into actually benefiting the team without you guys even realizing it, because while he was upset with you, he was going to be sabotaging all your attempts to contact other figures, so you were going to get a -2 until you repaired the relationship with him. That turns out we were wondering, Will, where the penalty was coming from.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
that.
from him.
Well, I,
So you solved that problem before it became a problem.
if I may, ka-chow.
All right, critical failure.
I'm just going to keep doing diplomacy checks against NPCs.
All right, so that brings us to the close of the first week. You guys have spent a week in the city. You've gotten comfortable at the Golden Mouse. Most of the staff now you kind of know on site. You've begun to experience, you've been out and about in the city a lot now. The city is there's always a tension in the city, because you have heard and haven't encountered them yet, but you do know that there are secret police in the city. There are, secret eyes and ears watching you in the streets. You always have to be escorted. Just looking out the window of the inn at night, you see that the curfew is strictly enforced. The streets are empty at night. There is no nightlife in this city. The city is beautiful. There are, friendly people here and everything, but it is held tight in the grip of its god king. But a new week has dawned. You guys have made progress with the council. You've made progress with Mabele. What do you guys want to do in a week? We're going to go around the circle again, this time in the opposite order. So we're going to start with Will. What are you doing?
I imagine just over breakfast, like we're all just sitting there like Monday morning, be like, hey, I did that. Y'all worked with the council. How's that going? Okay, that's good to hear. I'm just going to keep focus firing on the merchant.
Okay.
And yeah, just keep talking, be like, hey, you know what? If it sounds like this guild thing needs some help, I'm down to participate. Like, I'm down to help you out if you have something going on. It's what I do.
You want to just do an influence, Will?
Yep, I'm just going to do another influence. Be like, listen, I know for a fact that I am probably going to be in the need of the future some very specific magical tools for a very specific purpose, and you know what? Having a merchant friend could be really helpful.
Are you just saying this around the breakfast table?
No, yeah.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Why not?
Now I see why you were so excited to make friends with this guy.
Merchants are good people.
That is, I believe, a success, but not a critical one.
Yes.
So you are up to 3 influence points. Doesn't clear another tier, but it's a positive gain. Endures in Darkness is going to try and do a discovery for the... Oh, wait, no.
Perception.
Oh, no.
Perception.
No, yeah, perception. He's decent at perception. He's got all that wisdom.
He's a cleric.
He's going
a
to
druid.
attempt... Yeah. 31, which I believe is a success, but not a critical one. Yeah, he success by 2. So, oh, wait, no, it's a 32. He failed by 1.
Was he trying to discover?
He was. The DC for perception discovery is 32 for the council. So, Charlotte, what do you want to get going on this week? Or also, you could say, I want to let someone else do something first and then do their thing.
Sorry, my
That's
brain
okay.
not registering what was just said.
Happens to me all the time.
Some buffering. Hold on.
Sarah.exe is rebooting.
So, we've done Zanzi. Sorry,
Yep,
chat.
you throw him out of your mind. Rip up that page.
Cool. Great. Got it bid. Put it cleared influence. Check mark. Great. Perfect. So the next one would be Gondwi, right? The healer?
On the council, let me double check.
Do we have to
Yes.
work
The
council, or can we just do the discovery?
You can do another discovery check to find out what the check specific to Gandhi is, but you might be able to guess it.
No, no way, really?
A bit of flattery, I imagine. I'm gonna do it anyway, just so.
You want to do discovery?
Yeah.
So again, that's Mazzali lore, perception, or society.
Let's
All
If this
Charlotte
fails
is
again,
thinking
then
is she's
please
up to discover.
send Charlotte home. Let's go with society because I can't see anybody. 30.
That is exactly what you needed for success on discovery. So you get. Do you want me to just tell you what the specific one is for Gwandi?
Yes.
Medicine.
Figures.
Oh.
It's a lower D than diplomacy, deception, or intimidation.
Which is
Position.
considerably hilarious, considering he's in the healer and the plague doctor. Which tells me all we need to know about his code of ethics and
To be fair, his title is Plague Ward. So he wards the city against plague.
oh, so he's useless. That was Sarah, not Charlotte, saying that out loud.
Ever seen anyone at a Ren Fair wearing a plague mask?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
No, it's hilariously speaking how plague doctors always seem to be around when there is tons of plague and not when there's no plague because they've prevented it. No, they're only
Almost
there
like-
because it's
almost
already
like-
happened.
Almost like they want something, but I don't know what that could be.
It's
Also, they may have been the ones during the Black Plague are like, oh, cats are emissaries of the devil. We should burn them to prevent the plague. Opposed to the fact that, the cats were actually the rats that were helping
Helping.
spread the plague. So, shooting themselves in the foot with a crossbow.
Oh my god, wait, a tabaxi or a freaking I want to play a cat folk that's a plague hunter.
just tons of
Um,
plague doctors.
All right.
Hell to the yeah. Sorry.
So, we've learned the medicine. Moving on to Ophelia. What would you like to get up to this week?
Let's see. Well, so I can't do like a discovery check on like the next council member, right? Like we have to do it in order.
You could also do
actually,
diplomacy on this guy.
I'm not actually convinced. Like, you can only influence
You can only
the
influence.
support.
discover.
You could discover if you wanted to, yeah. So you could do a perception, society, or Mazzali lore check if you wanted to. If you wanted to try and queue up the next person too.
Right, because I just don't see myself being like a medicine. I just don't see that. I could try a diplomacy check though.
Sure.
So let's try that.
Oh,
I guess
wait,
I'm trying to appeal to this guy.
are you wanting to influence or discover?
Let's do the influence. We'll try
Okay,
to
yeah.
appeal to this guy's
So yeah,
Love
diplomacy,
flashy
deception,
outfits and
intimidation.
accessories.
Okay.
And let's see. So now, funny, I used to use that feat where I would use performance instead of diplomacy.
Can't use it for this one.
Now they're the same anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But it's still sad.
Well,
I was
that.
sad when a feat. Oh, now sadly, it's not a critical success, but it is well a success.
Okay.
That's sure. So that is going to be a influence with the second priest. So you guys are up to a total of 3 influence with the council.
Nice.
All right, and finally we come to Ophelia. Do you want to try and put you guys over the top?
That was
Who?
Avi, Matt.
What did I say,
You
Ophelia?
said Ophelia.
Ophelia. I mean, I guess if you want Zoe to have the second.
Sorry, I'm looking
turn,
at
I
a
can't stop you.
spreadsheet at the same time.
If you want, I can keep track of
Um,
this for you.
No, I'm perfectly okay with it. I just have it's a learning curve. I just started having to do this.
For sure.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to make discovery checks on new people instead of influencing the ones that we're working on right now, because I don't have anything that I can influence this guy with, I would love to make a society check on Priest Onami.
Sure.
32. Not nat 20, but I'll take it.
Turns out, let's see, discovery. Yes, that will be more than sufficient. In terms of influence, Onami is the only one who can be influenced with society roles. And again, it is
Okay.
low. It is a lower DC in diplomacy, deception, or intimidation. So it is a useful bit of information.
That is a useful bit of information.
All right.
I yield
And
my time.
that ends week 2. We are now into week 3. You guys, at some point during the week, you guys have a lovely kind of dinner to kind of mark your first 2 weeks in the city. You feel maybe a bit arbitrary in terms of landmarks to celebrate, but the Golden Mouse staff seem like they're looking for an excuse to try and be extra hospitable and the like. You do notice also the host of the inn has very specifically not made any reference to that closed door meeting you had in the inn a couple weeks ago now. They have not made any reference to it. They don't seem like they're acknowledging that it even happened.
Good.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
So we're both like,
What
it did-
meeting? What are we even talking about? Have a mango.
Mango.
Yeah, we got mangoes around here.
It's
Mango?
Avi Avi Paradise.
In fact, let me just read you guys a bit of stats about Mazzali based on the information that is found in the Milwaukee Expanse sourcebook.
Let
The
me guess
city,
it.
a divine theocracy, has a population of 37,813 people. 99% humans, 1% other. That's a little concerning. Milwaukee and Mizuno, and contrary to what you might think, there are actually multiple religions present in the city. Walkana is, of course, the most prominent one, but there's also Kohar, Luhar, and Telhar, which I believe were probably the original Sun Kings. The resources are armor and weapons, grain, fruit, vegetables, jewelry, gems, livestock and hides, luxury goods, magic items, mercenaries, ores, spices and salt, and textiles.
Do you spice?
Do you spice? Always spice. Anyway,
Sorry, me and Matt's
everybody wants
self-indulgence-
mangoes.
Me and Matt's self-indulgence aside.
I have strawberry mango Haagen-Dazs in the freezer, which I can't have tonight because I already had some ice cream.
Cruel.
But anyway, move into week 3. We're going to start again in the reverse order of things we did last time. Avi, what do you want to get up to this week?
I am inclined to make a society check. I have a plus 19 that unless somebody has something better. Going once, going twice. I'm making a society check.
31. That is a
31.
success. It was only a DC 30.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that means you guys move up to 4 influence with the council, which means you have cleared the 2nd tier. You don't need to worry about the 2nd high priest anymore.
Nice. Oh no. Does society work for the 2nd high priest?
Yeah,
I
it's
might have
for-
goofed. I think I
for
goofed.
the second high priest.
You're now on the 3rd high priest,
No.
which you have not done any discovery about.
Matt?
What?
No, I goofed, Matthew. I did discovery last round on.
Oh,
Priest
sorry, yeah, we
Onami.
skipped ahead.
That's
you
who I
skipped
was
one.
planning on doing.
Oh, okay. Roll that back. So
Oh.
yeah, we're sorry, we're still dealing with Gwandi.
Yep, I have
Well,
noted.
damn it.
Can
I hold this then until we deal with him?
Sure, and you know what? Because
'Cause I
this is our
goofed it.
first day doing this, and we're going to be doing this for a while probably. because there's a number of other figures in the city. I'm going to do, scooting in before you, Endures in Darkness is going to try and do a medicine check to clear that second tier so we can go immediately into yours.
Where you go, little man? Ooh.
There
That
you
is a
Beautiful.
success. We cleared the second tier. Now,
Hey.
oh, Ophelia, you've got a success. You now have 5 influence points.
Ooh.
We'll move right on to Ophelia then.
My brain here is trying to catch up again. Give me a second.
Yep, you're good.
That's fine.
So we have 2 influence points, 2 influence points, and 1 on Onami because of Avi Avi.
Yes. You guys have 1 success on the 3rd priest. So you guys are doing pretty well.
And we have to make society checks.
All right.
Yeah, if you want, you can do a society check on what are their name? Onami?
Onami.
That is a success. And combined with Ophelia's success, you guys are zipping through the council.
We're
Goodness.
knocking 'em out.
I'm just curious. How are you guys how are you
there are
approaching
3.
the council? Like
Um,
what is your like you're doing rolls and stuff, you're being diplomacy, but what is your strategy? What is the angle that you're pushing to the council?
Hello, I'm just a little guy and I want to make your city better.
I feel
Not that it's not great already.
I feel like in general how we've been looking at it and how knowing their different approaches, especially with what we know about the delegation bias and everything, it's like, okay, you stay there, you stay here, you stay here. So it's like group stuff. So for example, the 3 of us with Endures in Darkness and maybe 2 or 3 of the delegation go to Dazanzi, and essentially usually we did a lot of the religion diplomacy, right? That was what we did a lot of. Yeah.
It's been a lot of things. It's been a combination.
Yeah, I think
I'm just a small little guy and we live in a society.
We are moving on to Charlotte now, and you have moved on to the 4th and final council member, I believe. Simbala, who you don't have any discovery yet, so you don't know what their specific check would be that is specific to them.
okay, so let's do the discovery then. Let's see if we can get a discovery.
All right, so that'll be perception or society, and you think you guys have figured out that society is the slightly deeper of the 2.
There's 4 priests, Matt, not 3.
Well, no, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
28. I'm afraid that is just short of a success.
Hit me with a spoon.
I think you've only used 1 hero point, and everyone got another one at the start of the session from chat, so you could use it again.
It's a hero point. I went from like a 27 to a 21. I'm not thinking I'm getting a good luck, but I'll use my second hero point. Sure, it's 8:38 in the evening over here anyway. Well, I went up 10.
That is much better. So, in keeping with, because this particular priestess is the city's seer and has been at the job for quite a while, and so they probably accumulated a lot of lore and a lot of education on their craft. Their check is Arcana.
Ooh, look at that Avi Avi smile.
And while that's happening, we go back to Igra, who is schmoozing it up in the inn across town on the northern end.
Hey, I hear this other settlement is reducing the amount of silver in their coins.
Oh, I get that reference.
Oh my goodness. Make friggin'
But here, smell these furs. They smell
I'm
like
going to hero
apples.
point the 25. Fuck you,
so
game.
many NFTs up.
Well, I had to roll 2 at some point today.
Well, that didn't.
All right, and that brings us into week number 4.
Well, Igor,
I mean, to be fair, the DC is at least a 30, so like I have a plus 23 to diplomacy. Like
You just rolled
mathematically, I just rolled badly. It's fine.
I'm curious. Now that you guys have been here for a month, what is your kind of daily routine look like? Are you guys just all business? Have you kind of come up with little daily rituals that you like to do? Is there anything you do to pass the time? Because you can't be sitting in around the council chambers all day. They have their own business. So I'm sure you got downtime back at the inn, or do you wander the city? I'm actually going to individually ask everyone this, and we're gonna start with Igora.
Igor tries to find secret police.
Out of
Just for
your
fun.
how do you do this?
Just
How
by
do you
people, just
try
by
and
people
find-
watching. Just like they're like, oh yeah, that person's a secret cop right there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Bet you that
Are you
one.
just like standing out of the stoop of the inn, or are you looking out your window?
No, like I'm looking at. Like, it's like Igor like will wander around, go for walks, and just like enjoy the atmosphere of the city, and be like, I bet you that. And like in the back of their mind, be like, I bet you that one's a secret police.
All right.
Box with a weird
It's like
way.
finding hidden Mickeys at Disney, but more dangerous.
Oh my god.
Or like when
Charlotte, how does Charlotte spend her downtime here in the city?
I think for the most part, Charlotte spends a lot of the morning, essentially when given the opportunity with the guards in tow, of course, goes to wherever marketplaces and trades are going, see what kinds of different plants and powders and stuff and interesting items to look and see, possibly may or may not barter for certain foods and vegetables to take back for meals and stuff. I think other than that, off time, she focuses on studying more interesting elements of different poisons and, also takes the opportunity to study the language here, I think, as well. Because I do have comprehend languages, so there is something I can do. But
Okay.
oh yeah, and then the off time sequesters into the bed that she's staying is and reads the secret book.
All right. Avi Avi, how do you spend your downtime?
I think Avi does make a concerted effort to not leave the hotel as much as possible because she doesn't have the mouth bits what do the talking good. She can't talk herself out of situations if she gets herself in trouble. However, if there is like a library or something in the city, she would not be able to leave the city without having checked that out a few times. And seeing what sort of texts they have there.
The Jackal Guard is more than happy to take you to one of the local libraries. There's a few probably on the city. You do find it, in a way, as someone who loves libraries and loves knowledge and stuff, a little depressing because it is very obvious that this is a state-controlled library. You take one look at the titles on the thing, you're like, there is nothing in here that comes within a country mile of suggesting ideas that are contrary to what the city approves of. The secret police have been through here with a fine-tooth comb.
Clockwork Mango.
Like, there's so many books about farming and the proper ways to worship Lorcana, if you want to study that.
Yeah, we know nothing about that, do we?
I probably will pick up a book on the proper ways to worship Wakana just for the sake of like making sure I don't fuck up.
There is several chapters about the proper way to bow whenever it is present.
God.
I'll study
With
that
diagrams.
Oh, good. Well, you know what? That's good information to have because this is kind of all I have in terms of diplomacy is just making sure I know customs. So this is actually very helpful information for me.
Would
So
that
I will
not,
study that.
would
but
that
probably
not help, sorry, would that not help to influence more and more learning about the Mazzali lore then?
Not really, because this is actually trying to reach the basic knowledge that citizens have.
Okay.
At best, you'd be getting away from a disadvantage.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I should also note, Avi, that as the member of the party who probably would this happen to the most, you get some looks just being out in the street. Because while Igra is a humanoid frog and Charlotte is a humanoid spider person, they are at least about human height and build. You're this little thing. Well,
Igra's
yeah.
so medium sized.
No, I'm small.
Yeah, but you've still got
Oh.
Igor is a small.
you've
size
still got
creature.
like you still look like maybe like a weird human child.
Yeah, like I'm
Avi
like,
is very obviously
Avi's
not.
tiny.
yeah, I'm like
People think you have a
spring-sized.
skin condition, Igura.
A child with a skin condition. There's no hiding that she is what she is, and she makes very little effort to do that because there's not a whole lot of point. Then I think she does at least make an effort to maybe once a week do a little shopping trip and find whatever like local delicacies there might be. Just
My first impulse is to make up something here, but considering this book exists, I'm not going to do that this time because there's probably actually local dishes in here that I should actually read a
the
bit more.
purple hat.
Charlotte probably wants to
Ooh.
go on those weekly grocery trips too. Charlotte wants to go on those weekly grocery trips too.
Ophelia, what do you get to in your downtime?
Well, I have a question for Avi. If you were looking in the library, what kind of books does Avi like gravitate towards normally? Like on downtime, you know what I mean? Like
I think Avi usually goes, if it's just based off of visuals, like the oldest, dustiest tome she can manage to pull off the shelves and carry with her little bat hands. The less it looks like it's been picked over, the more interested she is in it.
of all characters, I would expect Avi to be the last one of judging a book by its cover.
I mean, of course, if there is like, if you're just browsing along the shelf, that's what she's looking for.
Mhm.
But most of the time she goes into the library with the purpose of looking for a specific subject to learn about.
That's true.
So based on that, it depends on what she's trying to learn about. But to that end, I guess nonfiction. Scientific journals, that manner of thing.
Very cool. Very cool. Ophelia would definitely be going out and about, making a little routine for herself, trying to create that little entourage that I was talking about. So she would be trying to kind of up the public opinion of, we're a delegation and we're gonna attract a lot of attention from people wherever we go. But she might do little like performances here and there, like in the square, if her jackal guard would allow her, to try to create that little entourage, to help her gather information more efficiently.
I would say the Jackal Guard don't stop you because it's not technically against the rules, but it is very much outside what they were told to expect, so they are visibly uncomfortable the entire time.
Good, I like them physically uncomfortable.
They worry that someone is going to yell at them for this, despite the fact that they don't actually have a reason to think that necessarily. It's like outside their expectations, like, oh no, this is a situation I'm not prepared for.
Ophelia effectively torturing retail employees.
But
Love
I'm going
it.
to say one thing actually, because just because of a little reading ahead I've done about other people you may worry about. Remind me next time about your entourage, because entourages can help you with gather information, which is usually outside the influence stuff, but there is a specific person that gather information will help you put in contact with.
I see.
So remind me for that for next week. But speaking of, I do want to give you guys one last round of trying to do influence for week 5 because it might put you over the edge and you might be able to finish off the council this week.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going to start with Igora. So
Merchant.
Igora, merchant.
Diplomacy.
All right, give me a diplomacy. 33, that's a
I'll take
success.
Success. That brings
So
me up to
you
4.
are. That puts you up to 4. That clears into the second tier. I'll read you the thing here. Over drinks, you guys have become kind of buddies, sharing the drinks. The heroes and the guild determine a way to combine their efforts and make their requests intrinsic to each other's, guaranteeing that both groups will succeed together. You guys have earned your first of the points with Nikaru. I can never get her name right.
Ruka?
Nikaruka.
Nikaruka. Yeah, she's impressed with the
We're gonna talk
combined
about it.
negotiating power and realizes it's the hero's doing. Not, she also realizes that, oh, you guys are propping up play. Because you've gotten this impression, Igoro, as you've been socializing with him so much over this past month.
Mhm.
Possible reason he was keen to get you guys to sit out of things is because he's not a very good negotiator and he was trying. He felt he needed all the advantage he could get, and now,
Would never have figured that.
yeah.
Wow. So like a man.
So, you guys now have 2 influence points because you got 1 through the initial meeting, and now you've got 2 from this.
Mhm.
Wait.
And who knows, you might be able to end with 3 today if the council goes well.
Ooh.
Which brings us to Endures Darkness. Does he have Arcana? I really doubt it.
No, but you can always research someone else. Like, what's in Endures of Darkness could always, try to get another NPC for us to start working on next week.
You know what? I'm going to put Endures in Darkness last. We're going to move on to... Charlotte is dealing with her cat. So we're actually going to go to Ophelia. We'll come back to Charlotte. Ophelia, you have... let's see, the council. So, you can do Diplomacy, Deception, Intimidation, or Arcana for this last priestess.
I'm gonna go with diplomacy.
All right, give me a Diplomacy check. 28. I'm afraid that is a failure.
Reroll.
Hero point.
Last hero point of you, I think, or did you?
Oof.
Oh no!
Well,
No, that's
Oh,
so bad.
just-
Actually, you know what? This actually works in your favor. Because this is segmented into the various council members, you can't lose any influence with this council member because you haven't gained any yet.
Oh.
Technically, yeah.
Okay.
Haha, we're using the rules against the AP.
So these are influence checks, right? These aren't our
These are influence checks.
Yeah,
For
they're-
the moment, just because I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with too much, we don't
Uh-huh.
really have anyone else to discover right now, other than the bright lines, if you want to try doing that.
yeah.
But
That's cool.
Charlotte, you can do an Arcana, a Diplomacy, a Deception, or Intimidation to try and gain your first influence point with this last priestess.
Oh, that's dope. And there's nothing to lose, apparently.
Just because the way they've segmented the council. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's do Arcana.
All right.
Oh my god!
Nothing to
Oh,
lose.
Do you
Wait,
happen to have
reroll
an
it.
extra hero point?
No,
No, I
it was used both of them.
Oh, Elder Worm
Oh,
Studio.
thank you for the
Joseph,
raid.
great time.
Oh.
Great timing.
Great. You just got back to
Raid.
double that once.
Igor just comes back. Y'all are having a rough time with the council? Something going on?
Woo.
Whoa.
Double that once.
Oh,
So
Lord.
it possibly
Well.
comes down to Avi Avi. Hopefully,
an
maybe you can get a critical
intimidating
success.
Here's a nat 20. Here's a nat 20 right here, right now.
Rolls
We're
another
getting
nat
it.
one.
Oh,
38.
That's a 38.
okay.
That is very close to a critical success, but is not quite a critical success.
Uh,
So you guys finally gained influence points with this last council.
How far off am I?
You are 2 off.
Damn. I was gonna say, I think my critical success in finding things gave me, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to influence or discover information. But a +1 is not gonna get me there, unfortunately.
Yes. But you know, we still have time. We can do another round.
Wait, what about Endures in Darkness?
Oh,
Hey, can you just have Endures try to contact the Bright Lions for me?
let me double check the Bright Lions rules.
Just use perception.
Well, they may have very specific rules for the Bright Lions. Give me a quick second.
So why do we want to contact the Bright Lions?
Because I have been successful with the merchant.
Okay.
I've gotten to the point.
You
So
want to be caught working
To
with
be
the
fair, you've still got another 2 tiers to possibly gain if you want, Will.
oh,
Yep, that's the thing. Some of the people have the important point halfway through their track.
Well-
Other people don't have it until the very end, like the council, apparently.
all right. So friends, we're going to ignore an NPC, and we are going to just absolutely complete absolutely everything.
Yeah, you guys are gonna rep grind before you move on out of the hinterlands.
Yep.
Endures in Darkness is going to try a perception check to try and open up a line of communication with the Bright Lions
I
at
appreciate
Igra's request, and he has no reason to deny this request from his senpai. So
Oh my god.
Oh
Jesus.
my god!
Endures in Darkness wanders into a rebel meeting. No one notices him for a few minutes. So you guys now have make contact with.
Come from?
Hold on, actually, I should check this. I don't think it isn't actually a critical success technically. It would have to be a 45 to be
as
a critical
long as
success.
as long it's a nat 20. As long as you succeed the check, it goes up 1 degree of success. That's the nat 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, just double checking.
So now we put things in motion that we didn't really even want to put in motion anyway.
This is what happens when you leave Igra in charge of Endures in Darkness and you don't check.
No, we haven't put anything in motion. We now just have the option
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
We haven't done anything with the faction. We just have access to the faction now.
Yes. And a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to influence them or attempt to discover information about them. And I'm not entirely sure if that ever goes away. But
That's not.
that was the end of week 5. You guys are now into week 6, where it's going to roll right into the next bunch of rolls, because I really would love to see you guys get through.
Council.
Yeah, so we're into week 5.
Can I do another Arcana check?
You don't want us to roll double nat ones.
Yes, we're going to start with Avi Avi and go the opposite way around this time.
33.
33 is a success. You're 1 point away. Ophelia.
Wait, I thought we got
Wait,
the point last
that
round.
was the second.
Oh, wait, you're right. You did get a second. Avi Avi managed to get, yes. So, yeah, Council,
let's-
you have reached.
Let's finish off the week. Right? That's only one person, so we still have Ophelia.
Yeah, I'm just saying you've reached the top level influence with the council. There's nothing else to be done with them. But I'm going to read you what you actually get something at this level, opposed to all the other ones, which was just XP, which is pointless. The 4th High Priest pledges to aid the delegation. The heroes gain blah, 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 and another influence point with Niruka.
Ruka.
In addition, the Council of Moanasia presents the delegation with golden relics of Mazzali's past. The relics give the heroes specifically.
Ooh.
The relics given to the heroes specifically are worth a total of 4,500 gold pieces. Believing the delegation's mission will ultimately bolster the local economy and that it can recoup the costs in a short time, the council consider these elaborate gifts to be an investment rather than a loss.
Oh my god.
So a bribe.
It was
Bribed! We got bribed!
Also, I think they expect you to put it back into the local economy.
Well, yeah, probably.
Oh man, if
I'm
only we
hoarding
had.
my wealth.
If only we had connections with the merchant guild. Oh wait.
Avi, you are a dragon.
Be very wary of submarines.
You guys come back, and Avi has turned in dragon form and is just sitting on these relics and like, I don't know why I did this. I felt the need to.
I just felt the need to. I just felt the need to. It feels nice.
Influenced.
I highly recommend it. Turn into a dragon.
So
It's
we're
fun.
gonna move
It feels
on
good.
to Ophelia. Seems like the council is done with. Want to move on to assisting Igora with his project, meet his drinking buddy. There are possibly benefits beyond this level of influence.
I mean, the last time that Igor and I teamed up to talk to a
It
merchant
ended
guy,
very well for us.
it was pretty good.
Almost not for Cesare, but
Yeah, it's fine.
Not gonna lie. What was that? Checks?
Yeah, diplomacy. We got this.
Mercantile Lore Society. You don't know which one are lower because no one has checked that. Deception, diplomacy, or intimidation.
Nice.
That is a 41 on
That's a
diplomacy.
critical success.
That is a critical success. You gain 2 influence points. You immediately bump up to the next tier.
6. Hell yeah.
Whoa.
And that is actually going to get you some neat stuff. The heroes in the guild expand on their combined negotiating power, giving the 2 greater weight to throw around during discussions. The heroes gain a +2 circumstance bonus to all checks to influence other Mazzali figures. And that doesn't seem to have a set duration, so now forever, you guys +2 on all influence checks.
Wow.
Sick as hell.
And there is one more tier left in this particular track if you want.
Oh my god.
But we're going to move on to Charlotte. This is probably going to be the last check for the night for Charlotte and for Igora.
Holy crap.
And I guess Endures in Dark? I don't know. We'll leave Endures in Darkness.
Endurance and Darkness did the perception.
That's true.
Mm-mm.
Is there any way to do a learn something on Nikaruka?
You want to do a discovery on the merchants or someone else?
No, I want to do a discovery on Nikaruka.
Unfortunately, that Nigaru is a special case. There is no point in doing a discovery on her because you can't do any influence checks on her. The only way to get influence points with her is by influencing other people. She's the one where if you get just 8 points with her by getting points with other people, it advances the story.
And currently we're at 3 with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to touch the bright lines with a 10-foot pole right now.
Go talk to the Merchant Society.
Yeah.
I guess I could try for the merchant.
Yeah.
Not good at other things though.
Mercantile lore, society, deception, diplomacy, intimidation.
Yeah, I'm good at none of those.
Not society?
I mean,
Okay, society plus 19.
yeah, but I'm very scared right now that I'll roll something low and
Shai can always give you a hero point. You're fine. Do your thing. I believe in you, Sarah.
I believe in you too, Sarah.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's not for fail.
25. Is nowhere near a failure, but it's a little shy of a success.
A little. It's just a small.
Well, does that include the +2, Matthew?
Sadly, yes.
Does that?
Aw.
I will just tell you that becomes a 27. And unfortunately, the DC for society with Mabele is 29.
Aw.
Well, that's not terrible.
No. And finally, we come to Igora.
Hey, Matthew.
Yep.
Do you hear the people sing?
Oh, come on.
Will,
I would like
don't
to.
tempt fate.
I would like to go to the merchant again.
Oh,
Okay. You thought he was going to the Bright Lions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was talking about revolution with fucking Les Miserables.
Oh!
Nice.
A nat
Oh, boy.
20!
Wow.
Oh, no.
What a
No one
chaotic
likes.
session.
No. And you guys haven't even reached half the influence points you need yet. We're going to expand into other NPCs tonight, so. Actually, no. So that is a critical success, I believe. That was a
Diplomacy.
Yeah. So you guys have reached the final tier of influence with the merchants.
Now we have to talk to the rebels.
So, well, no, because there's another probably 4 NPCs I can open up now.
Oh, fair enough.
So 1 week after the heroes reach this threshold, the guild succeeds in its negotiations. Mabele thanks the heroes for their help and gives them 2 gifts. The first, ooh, I think you may like this, Charlotte,
Yeah, this
is a
goes straight
greater
to her.
crafter's ice piece as an apology for his initial attitude.
Huh?
The second is clout with the merchants of Mazzali. This
Ooh,
grants the
clout.
heroes a 5% discount with all merchants in the city for 1 year.
Ooh.
Hopefully you won't be here that
Oh,
long.
if only we had a big boost of gold. Oh, wait.
To be fair, that's a discount for buying things, probably.
Yeah.
You don't usually get a discount on selling people stuff.
Well, I know, but we would get a 5% discount. And we've given 4,500 gold.
All right. So yeah, you guys did very well today. You got through 2 of the meet the person things, and you managed to get an additional 2 points. At this rate, we'll be so at 3, so at this rate it'll be 3 weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Eyepiece? Do
And
we
I
have...
mean 3, actually no, because I won't have to explain everything. We'll probably be able to go a lot quicker next time.
All right, but my friends, thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. Don't forget to check out our many other shows here on the channel, like Wild Ambition, like the Astral Calling, and like Salt and Strategy. Let's see. I think Marshy is online, so we're going to go say hi to Marshy. Thank you all so much for coming. Don't forget to check out our many other shows, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye. Shy, we'll see you on Wednesday or tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.